It could take months to fully extinguish a scrub fire in the Mackenzie District, even though it's hiding under a blanket of snow right now. The fire has ripped through more than 3,000 hectares of mostly wilding pines near Twizel since Sunday. The Civil Defence Minister, Peeni, Henare, flew in today to assess the damage and speak to the people affected. Video journalist Nathan McKinnon and reporter Tess Brunton are in Twizel and filed this story.
For the past 2 days, flames have scorched the earth, ripping through wilding pines near the popular tourist attraction Lake Pukaki. But overnight, a southerly change turned the region white, with the poor conditions forcing helicopters to stay on the ground. Twizel Fire Station Deputy Chief Fire Officer Ian Gardner was staying overnight to protect properties as the snow and heavy rain hit the area.
We could see the front, which was... There were some big flare-ups before that, quite significant ones, raining ash around us, but yeah, it was quite dramatic, the change in weather.
3 crews from Timaru, Ashburton and Twizel held their overnight vigil to protect at least 20 buildings, including accommodation and cottages. One homestead has been destroyed, along with some smaller outbuildings, but most have been protected from the flames.
At the start of the shift, there was still lots of flare-ups. The whole hillside in the mountains was pretty much on fire. You probably got footage of that maybe from last night. And then as soon as the front came through, everything just started to die right down. Humidity went right up, so fire behaviour just really settled. And then it started to rain, probably about 11 o'clock. By 12 it was quite heavy, and then by 4 o'clock it started to snow.
Ian Gardner was relieved to see the front move over and crews heading home. He says the community has been incredibly supportive.
Oh, it's been great, the community have been offering their support, been dropping food off at the station. Lots of moral support, it's been great.
Earlier today, the highway to Aoraki Mount Cook was reopened. Civil Defence Minister Peeni Henare travelled along the road to check the damage, but it wasn't quite what he expected.
I came here to see a fire and now I see a winter wonderland, and it belies what actually took place here yesterday, which is really surprising. The footage that I've seen, the discussions that I've had, paints a very different picture, but obviously it's what we can't see that's the issue, which is why the assessment as soon as possible needs to be made about the state of the fire.
He met with some of the people affected.
A number of them have lost and have property that's damaged. There is, in our discussions, anxiety and really they're unsure about what the future holds for them. But I know that the good communication from the Mayor's office and also the work that Rob and his team are doing are helping them, one, to get back to their property in the first instance, and two, how we might support them into the future.
No support funding was announced. The Minister says the focus is on the fire and he expects to hear more about what the community needs over the coming days. Instead, Peeni Henare referred to previous funding to help clear the wilding pines. Funding Mackenzie District Mayor Graham Smith acknowledged but said more was needed.
Those properties that made a real intention to keep the vegetation well away from their frontages actually helped themselves. And so around Twizel here we have areas where there's trees. We need to be more proactive in actually making sure that vegetation is not in a position where it can explode and cause property damage.
Thick snow blankets the area with the smell of ash hanging in the air. Instead of flames, smoke rises from blackened branches. About 15 firefighters were in the field today, using heavy machinery to create control lines. Fire and Emergency Incident Controller Rob Hand says the fire is hidden, but it's still active and could stay that way for 3 months.
The fire's sitting there under a cover of snow. It's not going to go running anywhere. There'll be smouldering heaps with heavy fuel loads in different areas, and that's something the public shouldn't be concerned about. It's not going to go running towards any property. We've done site assessments on all those properties, and we wouldn't be letting the public back into them without confidence that they are safe.
Rob Hand says they're working to develop a plan and expected to be more actively fighting the fire on Thursday and Friday. While the fire is expected to linger for months, Graham Smith says the Mackenzie remains ready to welcome visitors. In Twizel for Checkpoint, Tess Brunton, Henare.